Interesting. So, this comment was made in response to a video I posted recently where I was criticizing some of the Acolyte's choreography. And while I do have plenty of Acolyte criticisms coming down the pipeline, I figured this would be a good time to address this comment right here. Because I understand some people don't get this fight scene with Sidious and 4 Jedi Masters. It really does look like he just killed 3 guys that were standing around not defending. It looks that way if you don't know the deeper lore of Star Wars. So allow me to explain just why this fight scene makes sense while the fight scenes in the Acolyte do not. You see, the reason why these 4 Jedi Masters stand around and don't attack Palpatine is because right before the fight starts, he does this. Did you catch it? Here, let's get it again. This time listen very carefully. That sound was Palpatine screaming. And I know it sounds weird because it really doesn't sound like his voice. That's because he was using a technique called Force Scream. You see, Force Scream is a dark side technique that the Sith use. The way it works is that they channel the Force into their voice in order to amplify the sound waves of their voice in order to create a sort of mini sonic boom to disorient anyone within range of their blast. By doing this, he completely disoriented all 4 Jedi Masters here and then proceeded to attack them. Starting with Agen Kolar. The reason he attacks Agen Kolar first is because he, as Palpatine, got really close to the Jedi Council, and because of that, he knew who was really capable of doing what within the Order. Because of this, he knew that Agen Kolar was considered the best lightsaber duelist among the entire Council, so he made sure to get rid of him first, and then followed up and took down Sassin Ten. From there, he proceeds to attack Kit Fisto and Mace Windu while they're still trying to collect themselves. He manages to take down Kit Fisto, and then by the time he tries to take down Mace Windu has fully collected himself and has mounted a defense. At that point, Mace Windu activates his ability Vapad, which gives him 2 unique strengths. 1, being able to tap into the dark side temporarily for combat reasons, and 2, it allows him to reflect non-physical dark side abilities back at his opponent. Specifically non-physical because he obviously can't use it to reflect lightning back at his opponent. But for abilities that attack you mentally or attack you internally, like your internal organs, Vapad allows it to reflect right back at them. Abilities like Force Scream, Force Nightmare, Force Illusion, Force Choke, just to name a few. And by doing so, he ends up evening the playing field by stalemating their Force abilities and leaving the battle to come down to their lightsaber skills. Now I know after that explanation, the next question is obvious. If these are 4 Jedi Masters, how come they could not defend against Sidious's Force Scream? Well, the answer for that is also very simple when you look at the era that they're in. Remember that all of the Jedi, the entire Jedi Order, has no experience fighting actual Sith Lords. All of these supposed Sith that they did run up against were people that were haphazardly trained by Sidious so that they could serve him but not become more powerful than him. And even then, these encounters were very far and few between. It's not like the entire Order or the entire Jedi Council was gaining a lot of Sith combat experience. So with that being said, even though they were proper Jedi Masters, they were Masters who were not ready and not equipped to fight an actual Sith Lord. Things would have been different if they were Old Republic Jedi, because the Old Republic Jedi were the ones who were fighting the Jedi Civil War and the Great Sith Wars and battling Sith pretty much every few years trying to survive. These Jedi would have had a better handle on taking on Sidious simply because of their knowledge. They would have known how to defend against certain techniques and would have been ready for him. However, that's just not the case with the modern Republic Jedi. But the thing is, even they were aware of this. The very reason why Mace Windu gathered 3 other Jedi Masters to accompany him to try to arrest Palpatine in the first place was because they knew that they hadn't fought an actual Sith Lord yet, and they knew very well they were walking into uncharted territory, and they were hoping that their numbers would even the playing field. It just didn't. It didn't help them at all. And that is why Sidious was able to kill 3 Jedi Masters before they was able to do anything to fight back. Now I know there's a lot of Star Wars fans who don't know these kind of details because you're not going to get these details directly from the movies. Star Wars movies and the TV shows, they do a lot of visual storytelling, so they don't really explain what's happening most of the time. So the only time you really get this information is if you're one of those who dives into the books, the comics, the video games, where they can pack in all that additional lore information for people to read up and, absorb. So if you're not one of those people like me who likes to read the books or play the games or check out the comics, then you're going to miss out on these things, and certain things that happen on screen are going to go over your head because it's just not explained to you, which is fine. That's what YouTubers and TikTokers and people like me who deep dive into Star Wars are here for. So if you have any questions about Star Wars and anything that happens in there that may have confused you, or you're just wondering what happened there, feel free to put those questions in the comments. I'd be happy to answer.